Let's talk about bulb basics and the way to really be successful with Holland bulbs. One of the most important things that we like to recommend is that you buy early in the season so that you get the very best selection, best colors, and exactly what you want. When you buy early though, don't be tempted to go out and plant in the garden. It's too early when you buy in September. So buy the bulbs, store them in a cool, dark spot until we start seeing temperature changes. A real good indicator is soil temperatures are 55 degrees, but most people don't have a thermometer that they're sticking in their garden. So another good way to know is that when the deciduous trees, the maples, the oaks start turning color, that's an indication that the soil temperatures have dropped enough that it's a good time to plant. One of the things that you want to do with what we call the major bulbs, which are things like daffodils, tulips, and hyacinths, is you want to plant them in masses. You need groups of 8 to 10 to 12 to really make an impression. So when you put them in the ground, a grouping of tulips might look something like this. You want to space them 4 to 6 inches apart so that when they come up, they're a nice cylinder of color for you. Never put them in straight rows like soldiers. Even if it's 1 or 2 wide, it doesn't give you a very good effect. You want to really mass them close together for maximum color effect in the spring. Always, always, always look for top size bulbs. It will say that on the package. A top size bulb, the flower is directly related to the size of the bulb. So the larger the bulb, the better the flower is going to be for you too. All the bulbs like sun, and because you're putting them out in fall for spring bloom, a lot of times they'll be blooming when the trees haven't leafed out. Even after the bulbs bloom, you still want them to have a situation where they get at least 6 to 8 weeks of sun rather than shade so that they build up stored food for the bulb to flower well for you the following year. Bulbs need to be well drained. If it's not well drained, this soft bulb may rot. In the countries where they originate, they have summers that are really, really dry. So you want to put them in spots where they're not going to be overwatered during the summer. That will affect the bloom the following year. 2 ways to plant them. You can either loosen up, if you have a large area, you can loosen up the whole area again with a spade or a rototill or whatever. And then when you have that soil loose, you can just do it as easy as a bulb digger, where you pop it in that loose soil, you twist it, you pull it out, drop the bulb in, you push the core of soil out, and you're ready to go. What I like to do, I think a little better than that, is if you're doing a large area, put a canvas down or a tarp, dig the whole area up, throw all the soil on top of there, and that way you can be very precise about the spacing of your bulbs so that you know that they're going to be exactly the distance apart that you want them, and then you just take the tarp and you lift it up and you just fill all that soil back in very easy, and you're done with your planting. Fertilizer is important. Even though the flower is fully preformed in here, if you're concerned about them blooming for following years, it's a great idea to go ahead and fertilize not only at the time of planting, but when the bulbs start coming up in the spring and you see a little bit of green foliage. You don't have to have a fertilizer that is specifically for bulbs. As much as I like plants, I've never met one that can read. So the important thing is to look at the analysis. On this particular fertilizer, it's a 4-10-7. The most important number for bulbs is that second number. That's phosphorus, and that's what promotes bloom. So you would like for that to be 1.5 to 2 times as high as the first number, which is nitrogen. Once you get your bulbs in, once you have them fertilized, water the whole area thoroughly to stimulate rooting on them, and you're ready just to wait over the winter and anticipate a beautiful spring in your garden with Dutch bulbs.